I'm riding, I'm always extra careful, and I like to burn my tires hotter than you can always smell the rubber burning as well. Beyond the limit of stopping or going safe, destruction, devastation, that's my place. Welcome home, put your feet up, let's begin. Time trials is ready, baby, it's in. Ready, fast to full gear, flying through the sky. Nitro's burning, you're dying, yeah. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Nitro's time trial, need I say more?
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines because Trials Evolution is finally here. A sequel to the massively successful Trials HD, this side-scrolling, platforming racer takes a simple concept and makes it awesome. Your goal is to get from point A to point B in as little time as possible while navigating over, under and through an incredibly varied series of obstacles that'll either slow you down or block your way or completely screw with the laws of gravity. There's two main goals in Trials. First, getting to the end of the course successfully with as few crashes as possible, and the second being that you need to get there quickly. Unfortunately, pulling a top time on a course isn't just about holding your throttle down, because a large portion of your time also relies on strategy, like slowing down at the right points, landing jumps smoothly, and keeping that ever important momentum. To do this, you use a thumbstick to shift the rider's weight back and forth on the bike, which changes the angle of the bike when in the air, and when on the ground it'll either just lift the front or the back wheel up to help you get over obstacles. Now, it's this simple but perfectly executed control system is where Trials Evo truly shines. It really brings new meaning to the term Twitch gaming. And it's not only the controls for playing the game that are intuitive. You see, much like the original Trials game and other micro-platformers like Super Meat Boy, you'll end up playing the same levels over and over and over again, just so you can get that gold medal or beat your friends on the leaderboards. And if you don't get it right, you can just return to the last checkpoint instantly with a tap of your B button, or you can start the whole level again with the back button. There's no loading between lives, which is really, really helpful because you will die and crash and restart over and over and over and over and over again. And this adds to the fact that you can do it so quickly. It adds to the level of addictiveness that these games are famous for. For some reason, repeating the levels doesn't feel like a massive grind. This is particularly thanks to the constant need to top the leaderboards and beat your friends, but also in a massive upgrade from its predecessor. Trials Evolution is taking it outside across this beautiful island landscape. This is a great improvement on the single warehouse where all the Trials HD levels were set. And even though the maps are essentially just different variations of the same puzzle pieces, they're put together so cleverly you'll keep playing just to see what trippy ideas the devs came up with. I specifically like the level that was a tribute to Limbo, which is a fantastic game with a fantastic style. I thought it was put together really well. As with all sequels, Trials Evo is host to various new features. The most talked about is a multiplayer which puts 4 friends side by side in a series of races to the finish line. Unfortunately, not all tracks support the side by side feature, and instead those tracks display ghosts of your competitors. It still works though. I managed to find a few games with randoms pretty easily enough, and I also managed some private games with some friends, which was heaps more fun, just because you can yell at each other and scream and try and cause distractions. Now, while it's a good feature, I expected there to be more to it. I'm not sure exactly what could have been added, but it just feels as though something's missing. In addition to that, the multiplayer matchmaking system needs to be patched pretty quickly if the devs want multiplayer to succeed. The option to invite friends to games doesn't work in their own menu, so you need to use your Xbox guide button for that to work. And when you're in a party of 2, it seems to kick players in and out of the game while it's searching, which can be a bit confusing. You're not sure if they're actually in the game or not. Also, it looks like the game servers are a pretty average standard. This isn't a huge problem because you don't really interact with the other players, but when you see a racer lag out while they're trying to do a flip or a jump, it's pretty distracting and it also looks pretty stupid. Today was just announced so that Microsoft are going to be allowing some extra space on the servers, so that problem could be fixed by now. Now, I don't really want to get too hung up on the multiplayer flaws though, because in private matches I'd really had a good time. There's also the skill games. Now, these were a big hit in Trials HD. Now, when they returned to Evo, I don't think they've been executed very well. Previously, they surrounded intricate control of the motorcycle in various ways. But in Evo, these games, some of them don't even have a motorcycle at all. It's twitchy type gameplay is still there, but the controlling a poorly animated bike rider while he skis down a dirt hill is nowhere near as much fun as the hill climbs and the inside the ball games that were in Trials HD. admittedly, I haven't really given the skill games much time, so I'm going to give them another shot and I might surprise myself. One thing I will say though is that the UFO skill game is completely infuriating and not in the same way the rest of the game is. It is essentially crap. The map editor is back, of course, and I ran short of time to try and get this review out, so I didn't have a really good fiddle with it, but it does look like it works the same way as the original one, which I had a lot of fun with. It's just on a much grander scale, and I really can't wait to see some of the insane track designs that the community can come up with, given the massive amount of extra space at the player's disposal. Overall, I can see myself spending most of my time trying to get decent times on the ready-made courses though. They're loads of fun and become really challenging towards the end. And some of them you're just grateful that you finished them and you don't really care about the time that you got. And despite the anticlimactic new features, Trials Evolution brings back this classic twitch control system that was an integral part to its predecessor. The perfectly addictive gameplay will keep you coming back and you'll have a blast telling your friends that you just beat their best time. I'm going to give it 7.5 balls. If you want to discuss the game with me or anything like that, you can come find me on osgamernetwork.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at Ballzup_JB. Balls out.